Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Houston Sports Talk back in another video today, and today the Houston Rockets play the Toronto Raptors in Toronto for regular season game number 4. Early start for the Rockets tonight. Start at 5:30. Seems like sometimes that's going to be a start time this year in the NBA, especially with Toronto. I think mainly with the Toronto Raptors, whenever they have a home game, it seems like, sometimes we'll see them play at 5:30. We saw it last week. The Bucks played a game in Toronto last Friday against the Raptors, and that game started at 5:30. And you don't see games start that early during a weekday, and so that you're gonna have to get used as a fan. And I think maybe some other people as well will have to get used to the earlier starts at 5:30, just like us fans will have to get used to games starting at 10 o'clock. Like last night, that Warriors-Clippers game being at 10 o'clock, that was an adjustment. But so I don't mind the early basketball, 5:30 start between these two teams. Rockets trying to get their second straight win and their first road win of the season. Would be a great win for the Rockets, But, Durant, go in there. If he has a good night tonight, the Rockets 100% could get this done. But they're going to need more from, outside of Durant. I think that this is a lot better team than what the Rockets saw the other night. No disrespect to the Nets, but I think the Raptors are a lot better of a team than the Nets are. So I think I wouldn't say you need more guys. You don't need much more from guys like Alperen Şengün and Tari Eason. Those two guys were excellent, but Durant needs to be a little bit better than what he was the other night. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't as aggressive as he was in the game before against Detroit. And I think the one guy that I think we need to see more from, two guys we need to see more from in order for this Rockets team to be successful tonight is Jabari Smith Jr. and Amen Thompson. Both those guys got to, have more of a role offensively. Jabari Smith Jr. had a decent game against OKC, but I feel like in these last two games he's been kind of quiet. So if Jabari Smith Jr. can get his shot rolling tonight, that would be great for this team. They 100% can win. Amen Thompson's got to get going offensively and figure things out offensively. So if those two things can happen, if Amen Thompson and Jabari Smith Jr. can get going tonight alongside Durant and Şengün, that will be great. And we know this team is capable of having all of those guys play well and I know it's preseason, but when the Rockets played the Pelicans in the preseason, it was a dress rehearsal game. You saw everybody balling. Like Jabari, it was a game where like Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, KD, and Tari Eason were all going off. And, I feel like in that game, I'm correct, all of those guys put up 20, or maybe Durant was at 1 or 2 points shy of 20, but the minutes weren't really high for those guys. The Rockets, with their talent, they were capable of having a night where 4 or 5 guys are 20 points or over. I'm not saying that happens tonight, but the Rockets offensively are talented enough to have something like that. So, I think that tonight will be an interesting night. The Rockets trying to get their first road win of the season. It's going to be a hard challenge. This Raptors team is definitely a really good squad. The Rockets seems like they're going to go with the same starting lineup as they did the last game. No need of switching it up. So, which the change was last game. If nobody knows this, Josh Okogie's in the starting lineup alongside KD, Amen, Jabari, Şengün. Alongside KD, Jabari, Amen, and Şengün is Josh Okogie. And then Steven Adams is off the bench. At first, I was a little skeptical about it, but I knew Josh Okogie played well in the first 2 games for the Rockets, and Ime Udoka really liked Josh Okogie to the point where Josh Okogie got minutes against the Thunder. Josh Okogie got minutes over Tari Eason in overtime when they needed someone to step up. You saw Udoka go with Okogie over Eason. Then in the second game, when Amen Thompson was in foul trouble and Udoka decided to put Amen Thompson on the bench to start the second half because Amen had 4 fouls instead of starting Tari Eason in the second half, or anybody else, Reece Shepard, anybody else off the bench. Who did Udoka pick? Josh Okogie. It feels like maybe one of Udoka's most trusted players off the bench is Josh Okogie. He's played well, so I like him in the starting lineup. One of the reasons why he joined the starting lineup is to, just give Amen Thompson an easier time defensively and help with spacing a little bit as well. So the double big lineup starting lineup didn't last very long, only lasted 2 games. We'll see if the Rockets ever go back to that. We will see if that's something the Rockets do. But I'm interested for this game tonight. You've got also Fred VanVleet returning to. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if Fred VanVleet's going to be there tonight. I know that they said the first game against the Thunder, one of the sideline reporters said that they talked to Fred VanVleet. He said he wanted to join the team on the road at some point. Now, that could be tonight. I don't know. Now, obviously, Fred VanVleet's not going to be playing tonight, but it still would be a return to Toronto where he started his career. He's one of the, one of the best players in Toronto history, with everything he did there. But, I think that the funny thing would be if Fred VanVleet is there tonight, that'd be 3 years with the Rockets, only in 3 trips to Toronto, only one time he played in Toronto because his first year in Houston, he missed that game. He played last year in Toronto. This year, obviously, he's not going to play because of the ACL injury. But getting into my prediction for this one, I think the Rockets get a dub. I think Kevin Durant has a good night. I think Amen Thompson finally breaks through, and the Rockets get a W to go to 2-2. Don't want to see this team fall to 1-3. It's not death sentencing if they do. I think they'll be just fine, but much rather like the sound of 2-2 for this team. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. You guys give me your thoughts in the comment section, and peace out.